It would be great if I unmuted myself. Welcome everyone to Tome of Knowledge. My name is Moves Like Jagger from the GGN crew, and I am joined by Virtual Spectre, my host, and very special guest, Zeus, in your DMs, or Mr. Zeus. Welcome to the show, Zeus. What's going on? I'm glad you could join us this week.
Just finishing up some bugs this week, and happy to join you all on the discussion about today's topic.
Awesome. Yeah, today we're going to cover the 2024 Sorcerer. Usually I watch like videos and stuff and research, but now I didn't have to because Zeus is here, and I just got back from TwitchCon, so I didn't really have much time.
Is that my role here? Is to actually everything?
Yes, you're gonna have to.
Well, I did.
Or what is it? You already have the glasses on, so you're good to go.
I did some emergency reading about an hour before this just to make sure I was up to snuff.
Yeah, Bun, good to see you. Ori, Hearth, glad everyone can make it. Yeah, well, I guess. Oh yeah, I should do the things. I was just gonna get into it. Hi, we're casters of Cantrips. Today is Tome of Knowledge. It's our Monday vodcast, and on Friday nights we have the campaign 2, episode 52 that'll be coming up this Friday. Mac and I were gone last week, so if you guys were wondering why, it's because we were at TwitchCon. But I'm sure the show was great. I tuned in for a little bit in the beginning. But yeah, if you want to follow us on various channels such as Twitch or live on YouTube right now, you can do that. It would very much appreciate it if you guys give us a thumbs up and subscribe over on YouTube. It really helps out with the algorithm and like spreading our show to other people who are interested in D&D type content. We also have the Twitters. We're not very active on there. I should change that. It's hard to do social media when you're doing so many things. Anyways, and the Discord is probably the best place to follow us. That's where we announce the streams, the schedules. We have a super awesome community. Everyone hangs out and chat. It's a lot of fun. People share pictures of their pets, food, and cool video games. But if you also want to take it the next step and support us, we also have a Patreon, which also has a free tier. You can go as high as the highest tier, which is the platinum tier, where you can work with our DM Max and create an NPC for Max's universe and world. So yeah, consider signing up to Patreon. Even the free tier, you get early access to all the VODs and the podcasts, such as Out of Combat, which happens only on podcast form and YouTube. But Patreon users, subscribers, can get that as soon as Max is done editing it, which he says every time. And some other cool stuff. You also get access to the Patreon only channel in our Discord server. All right, cool.
I am excited when you guys run into my NPC.
If you do, I hope. Can you hint us? No, just kidding. Don't do that. That would ruin the fun.
I was gonna say one more thing. If for some reason you don't like looking at our beautiful faces while we're speaking to you, then you can also listen on podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. There we go.
Thank you, VS.
Awesome. But then they would miss out on my glorious beard.
That's true. It is an awesome beard.
Thank you.
I only get a baby beard because I can't grow. I don't know how you get to that length. This is like very off topic, but I can maybe get like
wasn't easy.
4 more centimeters, and I cap out. I can't get any more.
This is the longest I've ever had it. I usually stop about this long, like right when it's about like you could put a pencil through it and it would hang there, and then I'm like, too much, shave it. So I decided to go for broke this time.
Hey, it works.
If you
it works.
Special...
You look like a wizened sorcerer.
Yes. And if I flat iron it, then it's like really straight, like an evil sorcerer beard. It's pretty interesting. It's like Saruman versus Gandalf. It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's perfect because you're a DM, so it's just
that is true.
All right.
Throw the hood up, and it's just the silver beard hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Pointy hat, bushy beard. All right.
Pipe filled with questionable leaf.
Let's get into it. All right, we got the Sorcerer already off with some banger art by Evan Fong, a tiefling sorcerer. It looks is it? No,
Could be. She might have horns wrapped in her hair,
that's what I'm thinking.
but that's also kind of a hairstyle.
Yeah.
So
The skin
hard to
color is giving tiefling.
Yeah, the skin color gives me tiefling vibes, and she's wrapping her hair around the horns,
Honestly, that's pretty dope.
which is awesome.
yeah, they might be. Well, they've got pointy ears. Need to zoom in.
Tieflings can have pointy
Okay.
ears.
What class of sorcerer do we think she is?
I
She's
mean,
got a little, what do they call it? Like carnival style outfit.
He
I-
looks. Well, let's see what subclasses there are.
Yeah, they don't have Storm Sorcerer in this book.
Because
That's
that
my
was
guess,
that was
Yeah.
my guess, was Storm
Yeah.
Sorcerer, because of all the lightning.
Yeah,
And she's like levitating.
I mean, it could be Draconic Blue or
I'm
Oh.
gonna guess
Bronze?
Wild Mage. I don't know.
yeah, it could be Wild. I mean, that's the thing about the Sorcerers; their powers can manifest. They have their spells, and then they have their origin, and how they manifest is sort of a lot of creative fuel there for you.
More importantly, what's her name?
Celendriel.
Mm.
Mm.
Mine will be Zixalara.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
I know we're getting fancy.
You guys are coming up with all these cool fantasy names. I was gonna just call her like Vivian or something.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with being Vivian.
She's given
Vivian's-
like almost regal, so I was trying to think of like some regal names.
right, Bun?
Susan.
Susan.
Yeah.
There are
but-
some who call me Susan.
Samantha.
Miranel that's a good one, Bun. I like it. All right, let's deep into it. A dazzling mage filled with innate magic. So I guess the flavor text doesn't even really say.
Nope.
But all right, yes, of course, sorcerer core traits, charisma as always, D6 as always, constitution charisma is their saving throws. They got your skills, simple weapon proficiencies, no armor training, and then of course they have the starting equipment pack, or you can choose option B and get 50 gold. Okay.
I'm just gonna look at one thing real quick. No, it looks like the skills are all the same. Very little change. They got a couple. No, their weapons are basically the same. Also, any simple weapon.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine them adding or changing like the requirements or initial stuff for all the classes basically. But yeah, you got the chart here 1 through 20 that you could dip into. Of course, they're covering spell casting and recommended cantrips you should pick at first. And yeah, so let's get over to level 1 stuff. They have innate sorcery. An event in your past left you indelible mark on you, infusing you with shimmering magic. As a bonus action, you can unleash that magic for 1 minute, during which you gain the following benefits. The spell save DC of your sorcerer spells are increased by 1. So that's pretty cool. And then you also have advantage on attack rolls of sorcerer spells you cast. You can use this feature twice and regain all expended uses after a finish of a long rest. That is awesome. Holy moly.
It's super rad. Like right out of the gate, they already feel different, and yeah, and you can use this in so many different circumstances. Social exploration, potentially with well, I guess it would just be social in combat, not exploration. Objects usually aren't making saving throws.
Right. But yeah, being able to use this off the bat at level 1 as a bonus action, and then you can cast a spell that has an attack roll and get advantage on it, and then your DCs are increased by 1. That's super powerful at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially with the like my expectation would have been advantage on the attack rolls, just with how sorcerers were sort of presented in 2014, where they were basically a machine gun nest. It's just cantrip, twin cast cantrip, just pew all downrange, and having advantage on that is nasty. But then also having the save leans into a meta magic, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, I apologize, that I never really saw anybody use just because the cost was so high, which was heightened spell that made your spell, the enemy's save against it at disadvantage. So like, pick your poison. You can do it all.
No, yeah. I think this really solidifies of like sorcerers kind of being like the blow shit up mage too as well. Yeah, and all it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's already at level 1 a stark difference between the way they approach wizard and that type of magic versus the more kind of, I guess, raw arcane nature of sorcerers. This is like right off the bat something that's more violent.
Well, and just that they are like the raw magic, like you were saying. It's like they didn't learn magic; they are magic, so it's just stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, VS. Let's head over to level 2.
Yeah, level 2, you get Font of Magic. You can tap into a wellspring of magic within yourself. This wellspring is represented by sorcery points, which allow you to create a variety of magical effects. You have 2 sorcery points, and you gain more as you reach higher levels, as shown in the sorcery column below, which we'll show you. You can't have more sorcery points than the number shown on the table. You regain all expended sorcery points when you finish a long rest. Let's see. Converting spell slots to sorcery points, you can expend a spell slot to gain a number of sorcery points equal to that slot's level. No action required. And then creating spell slots. As a bonus action, you can transform unexpended sorcery points into 1 spell slot. The creating spell slots table shows the cost. Yeah. So there's the table. With the stuff you can do with your sorcery points and spell slots.
Yeah, it looks like at least on the chart wise, it's mostly the same. But now they included you need to have the minimum level required to use this feature. Where before it was kind of maybe it was assumed, or but yeah, they didn't really explicitly tell you what level your minimum required was.
Yeah, I think there was the assumption, but also I think multi-classing kicks into this, where you can't be like a 15th level cleric, 2nd level sorcerer, and suddenly you're converting into higher level cleric spell slots.
That makes sense.
Which I don't think you would be able to do anyway, because your pool of sorcery points wouldn't be that high. It's capped at
level 5.
At your level.
Yeah.
But yeah, they cleaned this up. So, like, for years, I ran the sorcerer wrong, where I thought that the spell that they sacrificed to get sorcery points converted the same way as sorcery points into spells, and it's not that way. It's equal to the level of the spell so you're losing something by doing this conversion. And I thought it was just a free back and forth. So
I assumed the same as well. So
yeah. So they reworded it so it's a lot clearer. They also made the conversion not take your action. Or a bonus
no
action
required.
So you can melt it down and turn it into a spell slot in the same turn, or just melt it down in order to gain access to sorcery points in order to fuel your meta magic for level 3. I guess meta magic is level 2 now.
Yes, I was going to say, speaking of meta magic, you also get this at level 2. Because your magic flows from within you, you can alter your spells, suit your needs. You gain 2 meta magic options of your choice from meta magic options. Later in the class, you can use the chosen options to temporarily modify spells you cast. To use an option, you must spend the number of sorcery points it costs. You can only use 1 meta magic option on a spell when you cast it, unless otherwise noted. Whenever you gain a sorcery level, you can replace one of your meta magic options with one you don't know. You gain 2 more options at sorcerer level 10 and 2 more at level 17.
All right, let's check out the options. I'm curious if they made any changes, or if they limited or all that jazz for meta magic options. But yeah, Zeus, if you want to cover the first one.
Yeah, do you mind scrolling up a little bit so that I can start at the top, or is careful spell the very
Careful is the first one.
Okay. Yeah, careful spell. 1 sorcery point cost. When you cast a spell that forces other creatures to make a saving throw, you can protect some of those creatures from the spell's full force. To do so, spend 1 sorcery point and choose a number of those creatures up to your charisma modifier, minimum 1. A chosen creature automatically succeeds on its saving throw against the spell, and it takes no damage if it would normally take half damage on a successful save. So it's basically a lot of verbiage to say select the number of people who are not affected by the AoE spell that you're about to blast the enemy with.
Yeah, it looks about the same. Yeah, this one they didn't change too at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then second we have distant spell, costs 1 sorcery point as well. When you cast a spell that has a range of at least 5 feet, you can spend 1 sorcery point to double the spell's range. Or when you cast a spell that has a range of touch, you can use 1 sorcery point to make it a range of 30.
It's pretty much the same from what I recall.
Okay.
I've always felt that the extend touch to 30 feet was really strong, considering a really close range spell like 5 feet just gets doubled out to 10 or 10 to 20. So always seemed like an interesting jump that I kept looking for spells that I'm like, what's touch that I can then actually turn into a ranged spell attack that's pretty decent range.
I mean, like shocking grasp, that's pretty badass.
Yeah. Inflict wounds if you were a celestial sorcerer back in the day. Yeah.
Hey, catchy cantrips. What an awesome name.
Yeah.
RVS, you want to take empowered?
Yeah. Empowered spell costs 1 sorcery point. When you roll damage for a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll actually, a number of the damage dice up to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1, and you must use the new rolls. You can use empowered spell even if you already used a different meta magic option during the casting of the spell.
Oh,
pretty much the same as before. Yep.
What's your guys' thoughts on empowered spell? Because I've never seen firsthand and first experience that people typically don't pick this meta magic feat or option rather.
It can be devastating if you are doing AoEs because you're rolling that dice and it's going to everybody. So Fireball is the classic example. You're rolling enough dice that the chances that you're going to use your entire charisma bonus as rerolls is pretty high. Whereas if you do something that's, a single die, it's like, well, that seems like a waste. But it also scales well with cantrips. Like if you're mid to high level and you're throwing out 3 die cantrips, like 3 die 10 firebolts, and you're just like empowered spell, and I twin spelled it, so now I get 2 of them. It's pretty brutal.
Okay. All right. You want to take the next one, Zeus?
Yeah. Extended spell. 1 sorcery point. We're noticing a theme here. When you cast a spell that has a duration of 1 minute or longer, you can spend 1 sorcery point to double its duration to a maximum duration of 24 hours. If the affected spell requires concentration, you have advantage on any saving throw you make to maintain that concentration. That last bit is new.
That is new. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I've always liked extended spell. Now that if you get advantage on concentrations, it's awesome.
Yeah, it also it didn't synergize a whole lot because so many of the spells were either a minute or less or whatever. And so doubling it, like, okay, it's still only going to last for 1 fight, or they were like an hour or more. And you're like, well, 1 hour versus 2. Like, it just seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of spells that were in that sweet spot of really getting a lot out of the doubling. You get into stuff like Aid, though, that lasts 8 hours. You cast that, and now it's going to last you the whole day rather than
like 16 hours.
Just when you get to your destination. Yeah.
Cool. Up next, we have Heightened Spell. It costs 2 sorcery points, which I think used to cost 3.
Yes.
When you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, you can spend 2 sorcery points to change the casting time to a bonus action for this casting. You can't modify a spell in this way if you already cast a level 1 plus spell on your current turn, nor can you cast a level 1 plus spell on this turn after modifying a spell this way.
Did you jump to Quicken Spell from Heightened?
Oh, I totally did.
I thought you were just being hyper efficient.
I was like, this spell sounds nothing like Heightened now.
Yeah.
Or Meta Magic. Oh, sorry. Apologies. When you cast a spell that forces a creature to make a saving throw, you can spend 2 sorcery points to give one target of the spell disadvantage on saves against the spell.
Yeah, combined with the innate sorcery of +1 to your spell save DCs, and the fact that this is now 2 sorcery instead of 3.
Yeah.
Super strong. Like, you can make a sorcerer who is just going to lock down single opponents reliably.
All right. Well, since I already read Quicken Spell, let's move on to Seeking Spell.
Yeah. So Seeking Spell costs 1 sorcery point. If you make an attack roll for a spell and miss, you can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll the d20, and you must use the new roll. You can use Seeking Spell even if you've already used a different meta magic option during the casting of the spell.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, pretty much the same, I believe.
It's like 1/3 of Silvery Barbs, kind of. Because you can't use it on saves, but it basically, you can re-roll to hit with your, like, Disintegrate or whatever. Your big whammy.
All right, next one, Zeus.
Subtle Spell. 1 sorcery point. When you cast a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to cast it without any verbal, somatic, or material components, except material components that are consumed by the spell or that have a cost specified in the spell. Pretty standard for what it was before. I've seen this one used a lot.
It's probably one of the favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Mac liked to use it.
I mean, we use it quite a bit for campaign 2 right now, since her and I both have subtle spell. Let's see. Transmuted Spell. When you cast a spell that deals a damage or a type of damage from the following list, you can spend 1 sorcery point to change that damage type to another listed type, such as acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, and thunder. Pretty good if you're like well aware of what monster resistances are and stuff. Just turn it on the fly. Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, this next one's way different than it used to be.
Whoa.
Yes.
You're
so
right.
Twin Spell costs 1 sorcery point. When you cast a spell such as Charm Person, that can be cast with a higher level spell slot to target additional creatures, you can spend 1 sorcery point to increase that spell's effective level by 1. That is something completely new.
So basically, it is affect 1 extra target than what the spell normally would. Whereas before, you could only use Twin Spell on a spell that had exactly 1 target, and it would make it 2 targets. So if I cast Charm Person at level 1, that's 1 target, and I twin it, it hits 2. If I cast it at 3rd level, it affects 3 people, and I twin it, it goes up to 4.
I see. But now, like, single target spells no longer benefit from this.
No, they do.
Okay.
Yeah,
do
if I cast,
that's a weird
wording. If I cast Firebolt and then I twin it, it affects 1 extra target. If I cast Eldritch Blast at 11th level and I get 3 targets for it, I get 1 extra target.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. They probably could have called it something different now, because I think.
Actually, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, because when people think Twin Spell, it's like, oh, I'm literally splitting and creating 2 spells here. And then now it's like, well, kind of, but not really. You get 1 extra hit or 1 extra target, which is a little bit different than I just split a spell in half, basically.
I just realized this doesn't work with cantrips anymore, because it has to be used on a spell that can be cast with a higher level spell slot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's booty. When you okay, I'm stumbling on the wording. When you cast a spell, I'm gonna ignore Charms Person just to like help word it for me. When you cast a spell that can be casted with a higher level spell slot to target an additional creature, you can spend 1 sorcery point to increase the spell's affected level by 1. So to me, by that wording alone, with that, if your spell cannot be upcasted to target an additional target, twin spell does
Yes.
not work.
Correct.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
So hold person, level 2, it affects 1 person. Level 3, it affects 2 people. You can use it on that.
But like, I can't Ray of Frost. Well, because that's a cantrip. What's a level 1 spell example that can be upcasted
To target something else.
Yeah.
Is Dissonant Whispers first level? Can't remember. Yeah, I think this is my biggest problem with this is that if I cast Magic Missile, which has the innate ability to split the missiles between targets, or Scorching Ray, for instance,
Right.
and I upcast it and I get an extra ray which can affect another creature, does that count, or does the upcast specifically have to be just to give you an additional creature that it affects? So it's a little unclear there, which I kind of don't like. I'm sure there'll be a rata for that.
So the level 1 Ray of Frost, you upscale it to do more damage, so you won't be able to twin Ray of Frost anymore because it can't upscale to target more additional targets.
Well, and it's a cantrip, isn't it? Or is Ray of Frost a level 1?
No, you're right. I clicked on the wrong thing. Right.
I think there's going to be surprisingly few spells at low level that this actually works on. Because a lot of things you upcast, it just increases the damage it does. It doesn't give you an extra target.
I can see this being a potential option for somebody that's making use of a lot of utility spells, like stuff like giving invisibility, fly, stuff like that. Being able to target one more of your party members for a, what is it, 1 sorcery point?
Yep.
So, I mean, I could see that.
Yeah, it's interesting because this was the default like machine gun nest I was talking about with the sorcerer, where you're just like cantrip, twin spelled cantrip, bonus action to quicken spell another cantrip, and you're getting 3, fire bolts out and around. And if they're doing, if you're 5th level, you're doing 2d10 3 times in a round. That's pretty crazy for only 2 sorcery points.
All right, so they're just trying to balance it out.
I mean, they gave the innate sorcery, which is pretty strong. I think they're trying to lean into a little bit more of like, hey, use your spells rather than just falling back on cantrips. And
yeah, and I remember when they did their playtest stuff, they made, I don't know if it was this exact change. I don't think it was, but it was something that had gutted it then, and people were like, "Oh my god, twin spell's dead."
Yeah,
way back then.
All right.
Well, we're on some classes.
Yes, we are. So it looks like they pulled over Aberrant Sorcerer, Clockwork Sorcery, Draconic Sorcery, and Wild Mastery, or Wild Magic Sorcery, which we'll get into it after the rest of this stuff. Level 4, same stuff. We'll skip that. And then there is Sorceress Restoration. BS.
I think it's is it BS?
Yeah. So level 5, Sorceress Restoration. When you finish a short rest, you can regain expended sorcery points, but no more than a number equal to half your sorcerer level, round down. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest.
So this is interesting because it's basically arcane recovery on the wizard, but it's rounded down, which the wizard doesn't round down. It's basically whatever your highest level spell slot is, the number of spell slots you can recover.
Mm-hmm.
What level do wizards have that at too?
It used to be 2nd level. I got the book right here. Let me look.
So
yeah,
this is a level 5.
I don't think we covered wizard yet.
Arcane recovery is level 1 for them.
I think, didn't we? Because I remember talking about illusion wizards.
Oh,
I think we did.
Okay, maybe we did the overview. I don't know if we did the deep dive. Oh no,
No,
you're
we
right. We
haven't.
did. I am a fool. Yes,
We did the deep dive.
I think so.
Yeah, so it's interesting because they initially they have the whole thing with the sorcerer of like you are magic, so your magic is stronger. But with this particular thing, it comes in later than the wizard and it rounds down, whereas the wizard rounds up, which I kind of like because it's like, well, the wizard studies magic. And so sitting down to rest feels more wizardry and they should be getting a little bit better of a boon for it.
I can see that. Yeah. So we're on level 7. I believe Zeus.
Yes. Sorcery Incarnate. If you have no uses of innate sorcery left, you can use it if you spend 2 sorcery points when you take the bonus action to activate it. In addition, while your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use up to 2 of your meta magic options on each spell you cast. Brutal.
Damn.
So the thing that they get 2 uses of, you can just burn 2 sorcery points to activate it a third or a fourth or a fifth time, assuming you have it. And then dump meta magic options like crazy into spells, which I'm sure will still stack with empowered spell and other thing. And what's the reroll one? The careful spell or something? No, not careful. It's the one that gives you the reroll. Seeking, I think.
The reroll to attack or damage.
The reroll to attack.
Yeah,
any of the ones that say you can use this even if you've already used another meta magic. So
yeah,
I mean, depending on how many meta magic options you have, you could potentially stack all of them into all of your spells and just burn through your sorcery points like crazy.
yeah. Why not? All right, pretty cool. And then there's like a huge gap. In level 19, you get epic boon. They have chosen boon of dimensional travel, which I believe gives you a dimension door, possibly. Immediately after you take the attack or magic action, you can teleport up to 30 feet in unoccupied space.
Blink.
You could dimension door every time.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's a misty step.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Missy step.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Level 20.
Level 20, Arcane Apotheosis. While your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use one meta magic option on each of your turns without spending sorcery points on it. Sounds
Beautiful.
pretty good for level 20. That's pretty good.
Well, the thing I like about it is that it doubles down on all of the choices you've made up to this point with your sorcerer, with your meta magic options.
Yeah.
So if you're the heightened spell sorcerer, when you're at Arcane Apotheosis, you're just brutalizing people with saving throws. Disadvantage. It's gnarly.
For 10 rounds. That's crazy. All right, yeah, that's pretty dang powerful. I like it.
All right. So we went through the meta magic options.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got our spell lists.
Can you go up to the cantrips real quick? I just want to see if they got any of the melee cantrips, like
Oh yeah, sure.
Flint Blade or
Chill
anything.
touch.
Yeah, tilt. Yep, that's a melee. And let's see.
Shocking grasp.
Yeah, they finally changed chill touch to a melee attack.
Mm-hmm. Melee, necrotic. Let's see.
Sorcerer's Burst is a new one.
Let's take a look. That's this. So
yeah, this is. I remember this being sort of like a sorcerer version of Eldritch Blast, if I'm not mistaken, but not as good as Eldritch Blast.
Cast Sorcerer's energies at one creature or object within range. You make a range attack. Target. If it hits, they take a D8 damage of your choice. And if you roll an 8 on the D8 of the spell, you can roll another D8 and add it to the damage. When you cast a spell, maximum number of these 8s can be added, equal to your casting ability modifier. So it kind of sounds like Witch's Bolt.
Well, it's a little like Chromatic Orb.
But then the if you roll 8, the damage explodes.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, cool.
And of course, the higher level you are, the more chances you get of rolling an 8, which causes an explosion. It's pretty strong.
That's awesome.
That's basically the Sorcerer's Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Say it, Sorcerer!
One trick ponies. Let's go.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway.
Oh, so yeah, here's Witch's Bolt. I don't know if they changed Witch's Bolt in 2020.
Witch Bolt is much different. So the range is doubled, and
take 2d12 lightning damage. On each of your subsequent turns, you can take a bonus action to deal 1d12 lightning damage to the target automatically, even if you missed the first attack.
Mm-hmm.
The spell ends if it's out of range or has total cover. So you need to have line of sight the whole time, and it's concentration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much, much friendlier than the original one.
We're gonna let's get to the subclasses.
Yeah,
we could spend a week on the spells.
Yeah. That's like a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, look at this. Dragonborn?
Yeah. Blue Dragonborn, Aberrant style by Ignatius Booty. Got an eyeball here in a little container.
Yeah.
Using telekinesis. I'm gonna go with dragons have crazy names. Zardraxianox.
I was going to go with Sotha, starting with a T.
Oh, nice. I'm going to go with Sorcerer.
Ooh, I like it. Fun's going with Thomas. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'll take the Aberrant. How much time we got? 10 minutes.
We can round through them.
All right, so we have Aberrant, Clockwork, Draconic, Wild Mage.
I really want to get to the Wild Mage if we're running low on time.
I think let's just go to Wild Mage and have Zeus cover it in case we run out of time. And then if we have time, we'll cover another subclass.
So this is my spicy take. Mm-hmm. Wild Magic was awful in the previous edition because it was written such that the DM basically had to give you permission for your class to work.
Yes.
Because whenever it said like the DM can have you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, you basically kept having to remind the DM, hey, I'm a Wild Mage. Can you make weird stuff happen? They have removed that in this. And in this version, like it tells you when you roll and you're rolling a lot and you're getting free activations of the Wild Magic table. It's what people wanted. It's what you expected looking at, say, this art here with Carla the Chaotic, I'm going to call her.
That's a perfect name. I have no notes.
Rhubarb.
Rhubarb?
That's better. I like rhubarb. Yeah. So level 3 Wild Magic Surge. Your spellcasting can unleash surges of untamed magic once per turn. You can roll 1d20 immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot. If you roll a 20, roll on the Wild Magic Surge table to create a magical effect. The magical effect is a spell. It is too wild to be affected by your meta magic. So this is giving the control to the player rather than the DM, like asking the DM for permission to roll.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the chart afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Level 3, Tides of Chaos. You can manipulate chaos itself to give yourself advantage on 1d20 test before you roll the d20. Once you do so, you must cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot or finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. If you do cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot before you finish a long rest, you automatically roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. Very cool.
Was there any changes to that, or was that the same?
Well, you don't need permission, and it just auto happens. Yeah,
that's right.
But also, it's like you can, if you really want to lean into the chaos, you just give yourself advantage on, like, so you cast a spell, wild magic test. Oh, I'm going to give myself advantage on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I roll twice, hoping to get a 20.
Mm-hmm.
Say I don't, but it's like, okay, next turn I cast a spell, immediately get a wild magic surge, and now I have the ability to roll with advantage again. So if I want to just keep trying to get crazy stuff to happen, I have my own ability to fuel that.
Awesome.
No permission required.
Okay. Level 6, Bend of Luck. You have the ability to twist fate using your wild magic. Immediately after another creature you can see rolls a d20 for a d20 test, you can take a reaction to spend 1 sorcery point to roll 1d4 and apply. The number rolled applies a bonus or penalty, your choice, to the d20 roll. Okay. Yeah, that seems about the same. But
That's
now
useful.
it's 1 point instead of 2 points.
Well, it's sort of like cutting words from the bard,
Mm-hmm.
the lore bard, but a little bit less potent, but you have a lot of uses of it because it's equal to your sorcery points effectively.
All right.
Next.
Level 14, Controlled Chaos. Can you scroll up slightly? Can't see it. You gain a modicum of control over the surges of your wild magic. Whenever you roll on the wild magic surge table, you can roll twice and use either number. Pick and choose. And the table is in the player's handbook, so it's not something that the game master necessarily keeps secret. So
we got some more cool art from Wisnutan.
Yeah, look at that.
Elf? Looks like an elf. Is
elf
this mirror
or half
image?
elf?
Mirror image?
That's what it's kind of looking like.
I think her name is Mary Mayhem.
I'm gonna go with Talina, the Scorched.
I don't know. I'm slow on the names today.
Names are hard.
Blair.
Let's do Lysandra the Deceiver.
I like it.
Susan.
Susan. All right. And I guess yeah, if you want to take this one, Zeus, level 18.
Oh, actually, the sorcerer is named. The sorcerer Delina.
Delina manipulates wild magic to create unpredictable wonders.
Yeah. All right. Level 18, Tamed Surge. Immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot, you can create an effect of your choice from the wild magic surge table instead of rolling on that table. You can choose any effect in the table except for the final row. And if the chosen effect involves a roll, you must make it. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Pretty powerful. There's still some randomness in there, so you don't get full control necessarily. I'm sure there's some choices that don't have any rolls, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like they changed it from 2014. It's called Spelled Bombardment. Harmful energy. Beginning at level 18, the harmful energies of your spells intensifies when you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible of any of the dice. Choose one of those die, roll it again, and add to that rolled damage. You can use this feature only once per turn. Huh.
Yeah, I like this more. It leans into the story of your character. You're gaining more control over the chaos, but also you have the option of letting it loose.
Yeah, let's dip into the table and see, because I know a lot of people complain about the written table, and people typically homebrew the table or find people who've made better tables. But let's see. Yeah, I'll start with 1 to 4. Roll on this table at the start of each of your turn for the next minute, ignoring the results of the subsequent roll. Roll. Oh, okay. So every turn for the next 10 rounds, you are rolling on the Wild Surge table.
Yes.
Crazy.
Absolute pandemonium.
Crazy.
I think it's interesting to then scroll to the bottom and look at the opposite of it on the 97 to 100 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually they're yeah. So roll a d6. On a 1, you regain hit points. On a 2, an ally within 300 feet regains hit points. On a 3, you regain your lowest level expended spell slot. So it's basically just a bunch of boons that could potentially affect you or your allies. So one of them is like total crapshoot what you're going to get. The other one is like all good stuff, potentially hitting your allies. So
there's a lot on this
roll
table.
a 6. All effects of rows 17 to 20 affect you simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
What's 17 to 20?
Let's take a look.
RVS.
It says you are subjected to an effect that lasts for 1 minute unless its description says otherwise. Roll 1d8 to determine the effect. On a 1, you're surrounded by faint ethereal music, and only you and creatures within 5 feet of you can hear. 2, your size increases by 1 size category. 3, you grow a long beard made of feathers that remains until you sneeze, at which point the feathers explode from your face and vanish. 4, you must shout when you speak. 5, illusory butterflies flutter in the air within 10 feet of you. 6, an eye appears on your forehead, granting you advantage on wisdom checks. On a 7, pink bubbles float out of your mouth whenever you speak. On 8, your skin turns a vibrant shade of blue for 24 hours or until the effect is ended by a remove curse spell. So a bunch of like silly stuff, and then one that's like has actual gameplay utility.
Yeah, with the eyes on your forehead. But yeah, if you get all of that if you roll the 6.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember Ven getting some of these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ven got the beard a lot and the feathers.
Yeah.
She had to speak loudly one time.
One too.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, for the most part, when I looked over this, they got rid of a lot of the really detrimental spells where you're like, if you roll that, it just kills the party. Like a fireball centered on yourself. They got rid of that. Instead, they have it where it's like you get to cast one of the following spells, and it's however you want to do it. So fireball is one of them. So you might just manifest a fireball that you're like, yay, free fireball. Cool. I'm going to send that into the enemy. They do still have ones that are negative to you, but they're generally just to you, not to your allies, which I think is nice.
The potted plant one is there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, they have you summon a friendly creature. Finn has rolled that quite a bit. We usually like a flump or a modron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, unicorn. That one seems.
The thing I like about some of these is that if you get them early enough in a combat, it can completely change how you approach that combat.
Yeah, like 9 to 12, you regain 5 hit points at the start of your turn, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against your next spell for the next minute. That involves a saving throw. That's super powerful. What else we got here?
I like 61 to 64. For the next minute, any flammable, non-magical object you touch that isn't being worn or carried by another creature bursts into flames, taking 1d4 fire damage and is burning.
Yeah, if you die within the next hour, you immediately revive as if by the reincarnate spell. Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot on here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Special shields hovers around you for the next minute, granting you +2 a bonus to AC and immunity to magic missiles. That's dope.
33 to 36. You have resistance to all damage for the next minute. I think that was on the old table as well, but like that's one where it's like you get that and you're like, oh, I have so many options available to me now as a squishy sorcerer.
If we can squeeze it in, I would actually like to take a look at Draconic Sorcery.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see if we can speed run it. Oh, that's some sick art. I like that.
Yeah. So at level 3 on Draconic Sorcery, you get Draconic Resilience. The magic in your body manifests physical traits of your Draconic gift. Your hit point maximum increases by 3, and it increases by 1 whenever you gain another sorcerer level. Parts of you are also covered by dragon-like scales when you aren't wearing armor. Your base armor class is equals 10 plus your dexterity and charisma modifiers. At level 3, you also get draconic spells, and they have the list there. So is that like
Always
like
prepared.
their version of unarmored defense, kind of?
Yes. So it used to be 13 plus your dex.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Mm.
It's pretty neat.
Pretty dope. Elemental affinity. Your draconic magic has an affinity to with a damage type associated with dragons. Choose one of the following types: acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison. You have resistance to that damage type. When you cast a spell that deals that type of damage, you can add your charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. All right. 2 gives you some elemental flavoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious if the use of spell in that refers to a spell that requires a spell slot, or if it does include cantrips, because that makes your cantrips pretty potent.
I feel like as written, that would include cantrips.
I
As long as
agree.
They tend to specify if it
Yeah.
otherwise.
I think that's also really powerful too if you take the transmute spell meta magic
Mhm.
and just change any spell that's not your damage type to your damage type and get this benefit. That's pretty good.
Which is cool because it starts to blend into your theme of being like, oh, I'm red dragonborn or blue dragonborn, and it's like I want everything lightning.
I just saw Bun's comment to this character, Bazric. This is an
Oh.
alternate version of Azric, Bun.
That guy's name is Chad Tholomew.
He's totally Bazric. If Azric was a sorcerer in another life, Chadsric. All right, Zeus, you want to take dragon wings?
Sure. As a bonus action, you can cause draconic wings to appear on your back. Oh, sorry. Level 14, dragon wings. As a bonus action, you can cause draconic wings to appear on your back. The wings last for 1 hour or until you dismiss them. No action required. For the duration, you have a fly speed of 60 feet. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend 3 sorcery points. No action required to restore your use of it. That's pretty cool.
Very good.
How does that match up with the draconic wings from 2014?
That's what I was wondering about.
Was
what changes there were?
So the speed is equal to your current speed in the old version.
Mm-hmm.
You create them as a bonus action. Oh, they used to last until you dismissed them as a bonus action.
Oh. Interesting.
You can't manifest your wings while wearing armor unless that armor is made to accommodate them, and clothing not made it to accommodate your wings might be destroyed when you manifest them.
Mm.
Oh,
Are these ones spectral? Nope.
doesn't say, but it also doesn't have that last bit about the armor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so now
I mean, that
with
was
armor.
like that was interesting to have like that, Angel from X-Men moment where it's like your wings rip out of your, clothing from behind, and have that as a thing you have to worry about. But, there's no reason that you can't work with your game master and be like, hey, can I have that happen every time I transform?
yeah. And then finally, level 18, Dragon Companion. You can cast Summon Dragon without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it in this way when you finish a long rest. Whenever you start casting the spell, you can modify it so that it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute for that casting.
Interesting.
Can you hover over Summon Dragon?
Yeah, sure can. Yeah. Call forth a dragon spirit. It's a level 5 spell, 60-foot range, lasts an hour with concentration. You call forth the dragon spirit and manifests in unoccupied space when you cast a spell. It uses this draconic spirit stat block. Creature disappears when it hits 0 hit points or when the spell ends. The creature is an ally to you and your allies. In combat, the creature shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands. No action required. If you don't order any issues, it takes the dodge action. If you upscale the spell, you get better stats. So I wonder if I can roll down.
Hey, I think I would take the trade on this one go
rather than
without
Draconic Presence.
concentration for 1 minute. That's still
Oh.
6 rounds of combat, right?
Is
Yeah,
that right?
it's 10.
10, sorry. Yeah.
I mean, that's for sure the way you want to do it for combat, so that
Hell
you
yeah,
can.
absolutely. The economy of concentration is so high, especially at level 18. Like having a free dragon while you can do other stuff is pretty powerful. But it looks like they replaced Draconic Presence. Or go ahead, Zeus. You're gonna have a
comment. I was gonna say you cast it and then you cast it again.
Oh, as a concentration, you have 2 dragons.
Yeah. Well, it's also a free spell that you get at 9th level sorcerer. It's one of your draconic sorcerer spells. So at 18th level, you're just like dragon. You just dropping dragons.
It reminds me of
army.
Yeah, the Starsky and Hutch remake where Will Ferrell's character's like this is gonna get weird.
Now, how would that work with the action economy? If this one takes its turn right after, then the second one will take a turn right after that?
I assume so, or they act on the same turn, but it's definitely after your turn.
Oh man!
So there's a minor thing. If you go back to the core sorcerer traits and look at what is it, the sorcery points?
The chart.
You can. Where did it go?
Let's see.
Font of Magic. That's what I'm looking for. So you can't have more sorcery points than your level, but there's nothing. In fact, they call out that any spell slots you create go away when you finish a long rest. So in theory, you could sit there before going into a fight and just melt all of your sorcery points into your highest level spell slot you can create with this, which is level 5. Go into a fight with all level 5 spell slots. And as an 18th level draconic sorcerer, just be like, dragon, like every turn, just dragon.
Jeez.
There's probably gonna be some crazy ass loophole that people are eventually gonna find out. Especially with like maybe like multi-classing to make it even crazier.
Yeah. If you do it 5 times, you go we call it going full Tiamat.
Oh yeah, the 5 heads, yeah.
Yeah,
they did replace Draconic Presence, which I think maybe it's for the better, but I love the old way, or I would say 2014 way. I want to say the old way. I mean, technically it's old. But anyways, you channel the dread presence of a dragon ancestor, causing those around you to be awestruck or frightened. As an action, you can spend 5 sorcery points to draw on this power and extrude an aura of awe or fear, your choice, to a distance of 60 feet. For 1 minute until you lose concentration, each hostile creature at the start of its turn of this aura must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be charmed if you choose awe, or frightened if you choose fear, until the aura ends. A creature that succeeds a saving throw is immune for 24 hours. Yeah, I think the new way is 100% better.
Yeah, I would much rather have a dragon.
Like, I would not be, as a sorcerer, I wouldn't want to be anywhere within 30 feet of anything.
Yeah, but it is kind of cool story-wise to be like, I am as close to being a dragon as possible personally, rather than having to just summon dragons to be my draconic self.
That's true. Yeah, I think we went a little bit over today, which is okay. It's cool. There were 2 other subclasses we didn't cover, which was the Clockwork Sorcerer and the Aberrant, which was, they probably had some cool stuff, but yeah, I think the book's out now, so you guys can definitely check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think in the comments below, or in the Discord, or on social media. Yeah. What's what I was gonna say? Yeah, you can find all those links instead of me saying every single link. You can find all of those at castersandcantrips.com. Yeah, thank you so much, Zeus, for joining us and giving your insights on the Sorcerer.
Yeah, thanks for calling me in. I half thought that it was sort of just a nice gesture in the stream last time, but then you pinged me this morning and I was like, all right, let's do it.
Nah, yeah, I was serious. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll be back this Friday for episode 52 of campaign 2 of Casters and Cantrips. I'm curious what the party did, so I'll have to go back and listen and see what happened since I was away. or maybe not. Maybe leave it to mystery. We'll see. But
Hmm.
yeah, nah. Okay, don't do it. Yeah, Tome Knowledge happens Monday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific times, 9 Eastern, and Casters and Cantrips Friday nights, also same time, 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 o'clock Eastern. We hope to see you there. And do we have a catchphrase for leaving? I don't know. May your
Never
D20s.
split the party.
Boom. Never split the
Yeah.
party.
I
All right.
have one.
Yeah, go for
Hasta
it.
la pasta.
Thank you.
There.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.